All right, let's check out what Dave Ramsey has to say about Bitcoin now.
Today, I do a lot of stupid stuff, but my personal rule is not to do the same stupid stuff over and over.
You evolved.
I try to, I've evolved. It's a higher level of stupid.
There we go.
Because the past level of stupid has been grown upon.
It's always right below the surface. You got to watch out.
PhD in DUMB. I have graduated.
Wow.
There you go.
Deloney has 2 of those, I've heard.
Well, he's not in that. He's got real ones. But there you go.
The good kind.
Today's question.
Does that mean that Dave Ramsey is going to recant his statements about Bitcoin? I think in the past he's called it setting your money on fire. He's called everybody that has put any money into Bitcoin stupid. So I don't know. Maybe he's learned something.
Good kind.
Today's question comes from Jason in Connecticut, who's also not evolved. Can we start treating Bitcoin the same way you would treat single stocks? Crud, son.
All right. So first of all, this question is just even the person asking it is premising this wrong. It's really a totally different asset, and treating it as if it is a stock is a good way to lose a lot of money, frankly.
I understand you're not a fan. No kidding. Where'd you figure that out? But an asset with $1 trillion market cap is not a beanie baby. No, but it's still thin air. Ask people like Warren Buffett.
All right, so the caller's making a good point, basically saying regardless of what you think Bitcoin is or if you think it doesn't have any value, the market cap of Bitcoin actually just passed the entire market cap of silver. So there's a lot of people in the world that think it has a lot of value, regardless of what you think of it. Dave still just says it's thin air, which is interesting because your fiat dollars are actually more thin air than Bitcoin is. The proof of work required to run Bitcoin grounds it to reality, grounds it to human productivity, and this is really important. But let's continue.
Who says if he doubled the amount he had put in Bitcoin, he would still have zero because that's the amount he's put in Bitcoin. I'm going with Warren on this one. Not saying you have to add it to your portfolio, but it's a good enough.
So Dave is, appealing to Warren Buffett, who also has not studied Bitcoin. People that have exclusively existed in a fiat-driven monetary system are going to have to do a lot of homework to understand Bitcoin. It doesn't matter who you are. So I'll see your Warren Buffett and raise you one Michael Saylor, I guess.
Your portfolio, but it's a good enough asset to invest 5%. No, it's not.
Okay, I don't know where the 5% comes from.
I don't know
It's
where
an
the
arbitrary
$1 trillion
number.
market cap comes from. Mist and smoke and mirrors.
Oh, wait. Did you say he doesn't know where the $1 trillion market cap came from?
I don't know
It's
where
an
the $1
arbitrary
trillion
number.
market cap comes from. Mist and smoke and mirrors, like the whole
Here's what's
freaking
happened,
concept.
Dave. Well,
Okay, so, oh my gosh. Now, if you've watched some shorts on this channel, I've actually made a video specifically about this, demonstrating how a portfolio of 5% Bitcoin, 95% cash gives you the same historical upside as the S&P 500, 100% of your funds in the S&P 500, with 1/10 of the risk profile. The caller is asking, should we treat Bitcoin like single stocks? When in reality, when you understand our monetary system and you understand money, I think the better question is Bitcoin versus bonds. If you have any exposure to bonds in this environment, you're buying a ticket of guaranteed inflation because that is how those bonds are going to be funded. For all the drama that's happened in the broader crypto ecosystem, the lesson that I hope everybody learned is that if something is offering you yield, you're the yield and you're going to get dumped on. And coincidentally, kind of applies to bonds. But let's keep it pushing.
Concept.
while you were enjoying some time off, Bitcoin has shot from the ground to the moon and probably back up again. And so now everyone's getting loud again.
No way.
Because it's hit all-time highs, and so now everyone's going, see, Dave is wrong about this.
You know what? We've got something else that repeats itself, like gold. See, I've been doing this show for 32 years, and ever so often gold goes up, and everybody goes, see, Dave, I told you. And then it goes down, and those people just disappear. And then it goes up, and they go, see, Dave, I told you. You don't understand gold. You don't really understand. Gold has value. Like what? Well, why does it have value? Because of people like you. It's a commodity. That's where people get value. The only reason. So
this is funny because on one hand, Dave is saying that Bitcoin is essentially like gold, which is kind of correct. It's the first harder money we've had since gold. It's also weird that Dave is implying that gold has this like crazy type of Bitcoin volatility. It's really interesting that he would make that point. The only reason gold has value is two people agreed it had value and they fought over it. That's the only reason.
That's the same reason that green paper has value. Two people agreed it had value and they fought over it. That's what gives something value. So commodities are exactly the same way as currencies. And Bitcoin, someday, all kidding aside, all sarcasm aside, someday it may level out and become a thing. But, Jason, it's not there. It's not there.
So this is interesting because he says someday it may level out and become a thing. Dave just hasn't put in any effort to really trying to understand this. The point in which Bitcoin levels out in terms of US dollar volatility is when Bitcoin is the unit of account. And when Bitcoin reaches that point, you're going to be in trouble if you don't have any. Everything that he is storing his money in, primarily real estate, is going to be actively demonetized against a harder form of money. The real estate that everybody invests in right now carries a heavy monetary premium, and all these assets are trending down against Bitcoin forever.
I wouldn't wish a Bitcoin investment on somebody I really dislike.
That's saying something.
I really would. I mean, I don't even want those people to lose money.
Well, even
gosh, you know, the first time Dave Ramsey talked about Bitcoin, I believe it was trading for $400. So those people that he called stupid when he first talked about it on his show have experienced over 100x return on their investment. Goodness gracious. Like, this is just so delusional. This is so delusional. What's crazy is he's talking about, you know, seeing the trends. You know, he's seen it all. He's seen it go back and forth. But like, dude, if you just buy and hold Bitcoin, you're good. The 200-week moving average of Bitcoin's price has literally never gone down, not once. Which means if anybody has held Bitcoin for over 4 years, or at least 4 years, historically, nobody has ever lost money. But if anybody has held Bitcoin for 8 years, they've made a killing. Because this isn't like a stock. This isn't like a stock. It isn't like another type of market. This is an asymmetric technological protocol upgrade on money as a system.
I see single stocks very differently because stocks are based on a company's performance and revenue being created.
Well, that's because you're intelligent.
I didn't have to think that deeply to get there. And so, again, I'm not mad at Bitcoin, but to say Bitcoin is the same as a single stock is just not true.
No, Bitcoin is a currency.
It's speculation.
Yeah, keep going.
Currencies have no value except for their track record that indicates that two people are willing to fight over them. That's why the yen versus the dollar, the pound versus the dollar, the Deutschmark versus the yen, these things compared back and forth. It's the faith that people have in something. And of all the currencies, Bitcoin has the least faith.
Okay. Dave, your fiat brain is showing right now. You need to take some time and learn about the origins and history of money. You're right in saying that the faith that people put into a fiat currency is what gives it its value. You're right. But Bitcoin is not a fiat currency. It's hard money. It's the hardest money that's ever been created or adopted by humans. People used to use glass beads as a form of money all over the world. And those people got wrecked when gold coins came into their system, because glass beads are a lot easier to manufacture and debase than gold is. And that's the exact same reason why Bitcoin is just eating fiat alive. But just as another layer of ignorance here, Dave just said that Bitcoin is the least trusted currency in the world. But look, there are 115 fiat currencies in the world. And by market cap, Bitcoin is currently the 13th biggest currency. And it's the only one that's growing in network effects and market capitalization. It's more valuable than the Mexican peso. It's more valuable than the Russian ruble. More valuable than the Swiss franc. It's right about to pass the Taiwanese dollar. It's right about to pass the Australian dollar. If Bitcoin 2x's from here, which it more than likely will very soon, it'll pass the Canadian dollar and be competing with the Indian rupee. Like, Dave, reality check here. You shouldn't be ignoring this. This is not doing your due diligence as a financial guru. Just frankly, this is bad, dangerous, harmful advice to everybody that watches your show.
It's the least faith. It's the most
I've heard a lyric once. You got to have faith, Dave.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't going to go there. Oh, yeah, there's it. I mean, it's not, so it's going to continue to be volatile until it's not. And even then, I don't invest in the Iraqi dinar because it had Saddam Hussein's face on it, and no one has faith in that currency anymore. I don't invest in Confederate dollars from the Civil War because no one any longer has faith that they have value except as a collectible. I do not invest in things where people have not established a long track record of faith. And even then on a currency, I don't invest in a currency. I would utilize it. I would utilize it. So to the point that I don't trust PayPal to be an exchange. That's a trust mechanism. I don't use PayPal for an exchange. So I don't even use Bitcoin for an exchange because it's too freaking out there for that.
All right, so he's onto something with not investing it but using it. I'd say that we adopt into a new monetary standard. But what's really ironic about what he's saying is, he's naming the Iraqi dinar, Confederate dollars. This is the trajectory of the United States dollar. If you look at the macro, the United States dollar is in a death spiral. The national debt is compounding so massively, so quickly, there really isn't a way out. We're spending more money on interest servicing than the totality of our defense spending. This is more urgent than what the gold bugs have been saying for the last, 30 years. They were right. They were just early. So far in 2024, 1/3 of the tax revenue gathered is going to paying interest on the national debt. 1/3. And we're adding another 100 trillion of debt every 100 days. Come on, man, wake up.
Out there for that even. But it's a currency, honey. It's not an investment, to George's point.
Well, Dave, you just don't understand the blockchain technology. And once you get it, you'll change your mind. That's the line I hear all the time.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't understand the blockchain. It's the future. Maybe it is.
When you say stuff like that, it indicates you don't understand investments. Because I've seen 4 cycles.
Oh, man. Okay, but also, and this is why the crypto scene has done so much damage. Bitcoin is not about blockchain. Blockchain isn't the crucial innovation. Blockchain isn't the important thing. Blockchain is an inefficient database, but it's anti-fragile and it has the potential to be distributed. Especially in 2017, it was a sexy thing to say that blockchain is real innovation and all these other altcoins are going to be the next Bitcoin. No, there is no second best. There is no new Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an advancement in the base level protocol of money, protocol scale, and layers, just like the internet. You guys critically need a Bitcoin expert to alleviate you of your ignorance. I'm sorry.
I've seen 4 cycles in my adult life of the nothing down real estate come and go. 4 cycles of it. We're in the 4th right now on TikTok and a little bit on Instagram. But I've seen 4 of them. Some of you aren't old enough to have seen one of them. And so you're going to fall headlong into it like I did the first time.
Okay, so now he's talking about real estate and not Bitcoin anymore. Ironically, because he is talking about 4 cycles, if he had put in any amount of due diligence into understanding this asset, he would understand what's about to happen with the halving and where we're at in the cycle of Bitcoin. But Dave, George, if any of you at Ramsey are watching this, legitimately, I want you to hear me out here. I respect and agree with actually the majority of what you say, especially helping people get rid of toxic debt. And I also agree with your worldview that debt is not biblical. And I empathize with the moral position you take on debt. But I got to ask you this. If you have that moral biblical conviction on consumer debt, then what does that say about our current monetary system that is exclusively based on debt? You need to study the history of money, the history of banking, and honestly, a little bit of cryptography and the cypherpunks. Bitcoin gives the world the opportunity for the first time to opt out of an oppressive, immoral, fiat-based monetary system. Not just so that all of your assets don't melt away their monetary premium into a superior form of savings, but for the love of God and his children. Dave, this video is really disappointing, and you're speaking about this subject with a level of conviction that your knowledge does not warrant. I don't mean this with any malice. Legitimately, I'm in Nashville. I would love to come to the office and help teach you guys about this, because I know your values, and ultimately I know that you're aligned with the values of Bitcoiners. Everybody will buy Bitcoin at the price they deserve, and it looks like you deserve a lot higher of a price.